Now when cases are coming out and you're seeing that what it does to your mental health, now you're talking about mental health, but you imagine a transgender person's mental health. उनके वो तो mental health के बारे में सोचते भी नहीं है, because their basic rights have been taken away from them, and we are still making fun of them in our films, you know. And I think that we have to, so मेरे को ये समझा ही नहीं था, तो मुझे समझना था. So which is why I chose to study psychology, so that I could understand the psyche of people who bully others.
Right.
Because मुझे ये उनके लिए भी बुरा ही लगता है. You know, the bully, उनके लिए मुझे ज़्यादा बुरा लगता है.
Welcome back, friends, to the second part of my conversation with Sushant Divgikar, aka Rani Ko-He-Nur, on Pride Lives On. So, when you won Mr. Gay in 2014, there could be, and I don't know, this is definitely based on assumption, one small side of it where it'd be like, okay, you've represented the country and like, you know, you've gone and represented our country and you've won something. So it's like definitely a great thing. But on the other side, did you get stuff like, okay, you know, you've spoiled the name of our country?
Oh, I got rape threats, I got death threats, I was like given all sorts of, like literally in messages I've got rape threats. That, you know, we will rape you till you become straight. Or that I was like, then how does that make you straight if you have to rape me? Are you foolish? Like, so foolish.
Right.
And I'm sorry, you better put a trigger warning. But I have, it's not like I haven't been touched, you know. And then my thing is that I whacked them. Because I'm not going to wait for, sorry, whether you like it or not, if you're going to touch me, I'm going to whack you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm going to protect myself, and I want all girls to know this, all trans people to know this, that if anybody touches you, and at whatever age, whack the shit out of them.
Right.
Don't wait, and it's okay, because कार्रवाई तुम पे चलेगी ना, उसके बाद तुम जितना मारोगे उस आदमी को हाथ लगाने के बाद वो देख लेंगे, क्योंकि anyway ये कार्रवाई तो चलती रहेगी, in my opinion. So better make better policies, better laws then about on molestation and rape. Right. Because if I'm getting these threats, and and this is I got when I was 21, 22. So, and even before that, even when I was a VJ on television, even as a man, I've got threats. So, as a trans person, so you can imagine how many I must be getting. Unsolicited dick pics, unsolicited pics, messages, so you get only. You ask, तुम किसी भी औरत को उठा के या किसी भी लड़की को उठा के Instagram पे पूछो कितने उसको dick pics मिलते रहेंगे. And this is this तुम्हारा culture ये है? Is this our culture? And you are questioning me being part of this culture when I'm representing this country and getting you awards internationally.
Right.
You are questioning me. These are the people that question me not being part of this society and culture. But this is part of your culture. Threatening people with rape. This is culture. This is Indian culture. So please wake up and smell the coffee or whatever you need to smell.
Right.
Because you need to wake up.
Right. But were you always like this? I mean, were you always able to respond in such a manner where you would, like, you know, whack them or, like, you know, retaliate?
No, I wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Nah? But when I was timid, I was very, very docile. I was very, मतलब मैं खुद में ही मतलब जो मेरे tensions थे ये वो, I used to deal with it myself, internalize it. That's why I, you know, had that, you know, bout of depression.
Right.
Is because I internalized it so much. मैंने अंदर ही अंदर दबा के रख दिया ना अपने आप में. तो मुझे बात करने के लिए मैंने सोचा कि अगर आई गो देन यू नो शायद मेरा काउंसलर ही मेरे को जज कर दे. यू नो मेरे को लोग शायद वो मेरा सीक्रेट ना रख पाए. ये भी होता है. समटाइम्स पीपल डोंट गो फॉर काउंसलिंग और टू अ काउंसलर. देन आई रियलाइज दैट भैया हमने साइकोलॉजी पढ़ी है. दैट इज अ फर्स्ट बेसिस ऑफ काउंसलिंग इज confidentiality is your first base, you know, first ethic of counseling. So then I had to sit with myself. I had to give myself perspective. And then it was not easy. It was not an easy journey. Today I deal with it differently than I used to do 10, 12 years back. Today I actually, you know, want to, you know, make these people understand that it doesn't make you a better person or a bigger person by showing somebody else down.
Right.
You know, earlier I used to, like, literally first I used to slap them and then have a conversation. I used to whack them first.
Right.
Today I am different, but of course if somebody is violating my rights as a or dignity, they're still going to get their ass whooped.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they should know that. and they should know that you can't just be going and doing stuff like this to anybody, outraging anyone's modesty, whether they are man, woman, even with men there is, by the way, sexual assault happens on men also. So with any gender, you know, and any there I was looking at this, and one of my Big Boss co-contestants in some show was like, how can a man be sexually assaulted? So for you, this is why I'm saying, you know, that they don't read enough, I think. And for you, I'd like to say that it is a reality that even men get sexually assaulted. So do women, so do trans people. So it is not कि भैया नहीं तुम मर्दों का मजाक उड़ा दो अगर उनके ऊपर sexual assault होता है. That वो भी होता है. ये भी एक reality है. So these are things that we as a society need to understand. And I understood this about my orientation, my gender. When I sat with myself and I told myself, when I look into the mirror, that's not you. This is not completely you. And who are you scared of? Your parents are with you. You are making the country proud. You are doing yourself, you know, major justice by pursuing what you like. So then who are you scared of? These people, the some of them that make fun of you, they are probably making fun of you because you're achieving what they can't. And that is a reality. So now let them make fun. But watch my content so it gets monetized. Make fun. But watch it 10 times. Watch this also 10 times.
Yeah, please do that.
Make fun, it's okay. क्या तुमने बोलने से हमको क्या बदलना है? बोलो.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, your parents being with you, you having the right friends also does, like, you know, help a lot in order to be able to have that reassurance that yes, what I'm doing is fine. Like, you know, I can go ahead with it. So I wanted to delve a little bit into how you feel the entertainment, and I heard you, I think a month before you did this in NDTV interview, a month before Brazindia came out, where you spoke about how in mainstream cinema and performance-based industry, the community, the queer community, has been very, has not been very nicely interpreted, like the way they've represented them.
तो मैंने गलत बोला क्या कुछ?
नहीं सही बोला, तो मैं बस पूछना चाहता.
He gets like नहीं मैंने तो, बट है ना, तुम लोग क्या दिखाते हो ट्रांसजेंडर लोगों को? हम सब सिर्फ मांगते हैं या सिर्फ सेक्स वर्क करते हैं? तो ये भी दिखाओ ना कि हम साइकोलॉजिस्ट हैं, डॉक्टर हैं, इंजीनियर हैं, किसी की माँ. ये भी होता है कि जिन बच्चों को फेंका जाता है रास्तों पे, तो मेरी बहनें उनको वो माँ की ममता देते हैं, तो वो माँ नहीं हुई क्या? तो ये होता है कि motherhood is an emotion, it's a behavior. You might not have had to give birth to that child, but you gave them love, and therefore you're a mother. So this also show all these sides also. Na? For years and years, the industry has been showing trans people as this only. The South industry, I must say, has had better roles and better representation of transgender people. And I think that therefore you see today that, you know, and the movies of the South, even in Marathi cinema, regional cinema has always done better than the more mainstream Bollywood, because the scripts and the stories are so much more real and authentic. And over here they have only shown us that हम किसी को हाथ लगा रहे हैं ऐसे, ये क्या मैंने किया क्या, मैं बताने के लिए किया अभी, but ये क्या हम लोग ऐसे ही बैठते हैं क्या?
No, of course.
What rubbish is this? So it's like, it's so stupid that we are all the time you're showing our hands flopped like this. What rubbish? You know, I don't know of people who are like this. I know people from the LGBT community who are sportsmen, sportswomen, who are like Duti Chand is, you know, one of the leading athletes of our country, happens to be lesbian. But that's not her, that is not her main characteristic as a person, as a sports person who's representing this country and winning internationally. That's not her only, you know, claim to fame, being lesbian. Her claim to fame is that she is one of the fastest women of this country on the field. So we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about the fact that Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi has been the chairperson and has chaired the United Nations in Asia. So at that level, we don't want to talk about Abhina Ahir, who has, you know, adopted thousands and thousands of trans kids and paid for their accommodation, food, shelter, everything. We don't want to talk about these people. We want to show us begging and selling our bodies. So every time if you keep showing this only, how will we improve? And then they want to make men play characters who are trans.
Right.
कि जैसे कि हम ट्रांस आर्टिस्ट तो मर ही गए हैं, तो हमें वो ठीक है आप करने दो. जैसे अभी नवाजुद्दीन इज प्लेइंग अ ट्रांस कैरेक्टर अपेरेंटली in some film of his, and I love Nawazuddin as an actor. Whenever you ask me who my favorite actor is, it is Nawazuddin.
Right.
People expect different answers, but for me it is Nawazuddin, and I think that if he wants to play a transgender person, then we also must be allowed to play men and women. You then judge us based on the acting. Don't judge on the gender then, but then you make it equal for everyone, na?
Yeah.
Don't show transgender people only as this, because then then I'm the exception or Lakshmi is there, but you have only shown one side of the transgender spectrum. Not to say that's not a reality, but are you going to show every man as a rapist? Are you going to show every woman as as a particular thing? So no, because every man is not a rapist. My father is a man, your father is a man. Our brother, you are a man. That doesn't mean you are a rapist.
Right.
So why you're generalizing this? So it is as bad as that. So I think we need to broaden our perspective, and then I can say that we are more progressing as an industry.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, I don't know. I would say that probably from Suresh Menon partner to Manoj Bajpayee in Aligarh, there has been some sort of
there have been many movies that have had good representation.
Good representation.
There have been mostly in the south. I would have still again say, like even in a lot of actually regional cinema, even in theatre. You see, even in Marathi theatre, even in Lavani's and all of that, even in folk dances and this and that, you see even in, like when we say drag is not from India, it's not part of Indian culture. When people say, I'm just like, do you understand that more classical forms of Indian dance, like Kuchipudi for example and Kathakali. तो Kathakali में क्या होता है? You wear these wonderful head pieces and the makeup, and then you do all of this जो नाट्य होता है, नृत्य कहते हैं उसको, and then the acting with it, and you know the beautiful outfits, वो तो drag ही हुआ ना?
Right.
तो हमने उसको drag बुलवाया नहीं. We didn't term it as drag. It doesn't mean that drag is not part of Indian culture.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Please, it has always been part of Indian culture. ये Britishers ने आके हमारी मतलब कितना हमको लूटा है और हमारा कल्चर का फैब्रिक ही तोड़ा है. It's actually the British जिन्होंने आके हमको बर्बाद किया है. वैसे तो before that तो we were the, as you know.
Right.
देखो अगर इंडिया पहले से ही गरीब होती तो क्यों आते वो चोरी करने या हम पे हक जमाने. तो we were the richest country. इंडिया वॉज द मोस्ट फ्लरिशिंग कंट्री. तो इसीलिए वो ब्रिटिशर्स आके हमसे इतनी चोरी करके गए हैं.
Of course.
हम तो उनको ही चढ़ाते हैं अभी भी. गोरी चमड़ी देख के हम फिसल जाते हैं ना, फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन. आई थिंक यू शुड बी वेरी प्राउड दैट वी आर ब्राउन एंड डार्कर.
Definitely.
We have the best skin. Thank you. No shade to anybody else.
Right.
But we are brown and darker, so in your head if you think that, you know, however fair shade of brown you're still brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let me just tell you.
Absolutely.
And be proud of it.
Right.
Brown and trans, bapre, that is how many strikes against me in the industry. Just can you imagine? So.
Right. So, in terms of, you know, directors or producers trying to sometimes probably bully you into taking a lesser amount, a fee or something like that. Did you ever have instances like
Yes.
that? Or
I still have.
Oh.
I still have. And you know, but my thing is that sometimes I take the job also, so that फिर मेरे बच्चों को ना थोड़ा easy होता है. Like at least I have my foot in the door, ताकि अगर जब मेरे बाद जो generation है transgender artists की, तो उनको इतने मुश्किलों का सामना नहीं करना पड़े. So I do also sometimes for lesser amounts.
Right.
But now I've started putting my foot down because I'm just like, sometimes when you hear, you know, your co-actors or your co-artists getting an amount, and then you're just like looking at them and you're looking at their body of work and you're being like, यार,
yeah,
ये तो नाइंसाफी है यार. ये इसको इतना,
yeah, fair enough.
ये like ये तो पूरे फिल्म का ही बजट नहीं है लगता है, तो इसके वार्डरोब में इतना खर्चा करते हैं ये लोग. So my thing is that I'm just like, suddenly then why is it different for certain artists that are you know, and then especially when you're an outsider, let me tell you, it becomes even more difficult to prove yourself. And that is real. It is. But you see many, like as I said, Nawazuddin is an outsider. Radhika, one of my favorite, again, actresses, is not from within, her family is not from within the industry. And I think that there are so many artists, like Kangana is there, and Swara. There are so many today, Ayushman. And they are all killing it, Vicky.
Yeah.
All of them, so I think that they are leading the way for even people like who are newcomers and kind of just getting into the films. So I think they are very good examples. All whoever is doing phenomenal work, even Rasika Duggal, love her, so yeah, Shriya Pilgaonkar, of course, her parents are Marathi, this thing, royalty. But I think that she has created her own niche, and she has fought for her roles also, where she is not just playing some abala, this मैं दुखदाई मैं कहानी बताऊंगी और हीरो है और मैं उसकी हीरोइन हूँ, ये सब नहीं चलता है उसके. You can see in her series and all that. So I like people who play like this, and therefore I have to also, you have to gain some and lose some, sort of a thing happens. Sometimes I have to, in order to at least do good work. But I think that it should change.
Absolutely.
Rent and all is very high, na? I don't know. अभी तो सबके ही दाम बढ़ रहे हैं, तो so please payment time पे भी दे देना. It's like yeah.
Right. I want to talk about your podcast, Jan Gan Man, which has recently come out.
Yes.
And where you're narrating the story of Rani Lakshmibai. So could you just tell us your experience and what the whole crux of it is? Why are you going ahead with this project?
So this is a new production house by Nischay Gogia, who was one of my first creative directors on one of my first shows on television. And then of course I was retained by the same channel as a VJ. And so I've had a very beautiful work experience, work life experience with him. I call him Dada, and because he's like a brother to me. So he was one of the first people who believed in my work, which is about 14 years back, and did not judge me for what I am in terms of my gender orientation, nothing. He said that you're great, you're funny, you speak well, so you should do this show. And in fact, it was his sister Kriti. They were both doing that show. So this is his production house, and the first moment he called me, I didn't even know what it was for. I said, yes, I'll do it. Because I will always remember people who have been there for me. तो चाहे आपको जो भी करवाना है मेरे से काम, I will do. Because at the time that nobody supported me, you were there. So that is why. And then when he told me about what we are doing, then I was like, thank God. I said yes, without thinking only, na? Because then after that he told me what it is about. पहले तो इमोशन में बह के हमने हाँ बोल दिया, क्योंकि है ना, हम इंडियन हैं तो इमोशंस तो हैं बहुत ज़्यादा, वैसे फैमिली टाइप. तो I said yes, and then he told me this is about about our freedom fighters, and then he said that would you like to narrate Jhansi Ki Rani and Rani Lakshmibai's story, and I said of course, because who doesn't. So we wanted to make the freedom fighters a little more human. Their stories to be told from a more humane perspective. Because we put them on a pedestal, we make them, but we don't ever understand कि उनके भी हमारे जैसे struggles थे. They have overcome that and fought for us, so that makes them one of us. So we should learn from them. We should not just idolize them and do nothing about it. So patriotism for me in today's day and age means respecting every religion, respecting every citizen of this country, respecting the fact that you might come from this whole caste hierarchy that we have. It doesn't matter whether you're Brahmin, Dalit, Hindu, Muslim, I don't care. For me, everybody should be equal. For me, that is patriotism. To treat my fellow Indians like the way I want to be treated.
Sure.
You know, so all those things we kind of amalgamated, and then I resonated with her story because, you know, till today we have to fight. We say we are a democracy, but as transgender people, we have to still fight for very basic things.
Right.
You know, basic rights. So all of these things I resonated with her, and I think that even if I'm like 0.01% of her, with what all she has gone through in her life, so that's why I wanted to narrate her story as a, you know, that divine feminine जो होता है ना एक, वो जज्बा आ जाता है उनको उनके बारे में सुन के ही, तो it was my honor and like privilege to have even had the honor to narrate her story.
Right.
So there have been other actors and people also that have narrated other stories, like the first episode was of Nakul Mehta. So he also has chosen his freedom fighter that he has given a tribute to. This was mine. So it was an amazing experience. And I dressed up, you know, as a Maratha warrior queen, because I'm from Maharashtra, and I'm, you know, I wanted to give that tribute also. क्योंकि ये नहीं होना चाहिए, जब भी आप नवारी साड़ी पहनते हैं, you know, मराठीज कोंकणीज में जो जब भी हम लोग पहनते हैं, तो nowadays it has become fancy dress.
Right.
कि अगर आप किसी को देखते हो तो, you know, suddenly you'll be like, wow, what a costume. It's not a costume. It is a regional outfit.
Right.
So it should be respected as such. You know, so I think that जब भी कोई साड़ी पहनता है, ऑफिसेज में भी आप देखोगे सिर्फ ट्रेडिशनल डे पे साड़ी पहन के आते हैं लोग, you know, so I think that वो ऐसे कॉस्ट्यूम नहीं बनाना चाहिए. It should be a daily. हमारी माएँ पहनती हैं, हमारी नानियाँ पहनती हैं, दादियाँ पहनती हैं, my bhabhi wears, for example. So, you know, my sisters wear, I wear sarees. So it is like, it should not become a costume. It should not become like a कोई fancy dress competition पे आ रहे हैं. It is your national outfit.
Right.
A sari, you know, is also like a traditional outfit for you. So I was trying to change a lot of perspectives. I hope it has landed. And,
no, absolutely. And I guess definitely you have obviously had a fair share of your own problems throughout your whole career, but the ability to help so many people from the queer community as well as making your name in the entertainment industry, would you think it's right to say that with the right kind of support from family and friends, you are probably an icon, an example of how much one can achieve, even though you're from a community which has been oppressed?
Well, I would like to think so. The fact that I am able to represent my country time and again when it comes to the arts and culture aspect of it, and then also on the, you know, the human rights and social activism that I do. So these two verticals I use always to represent the country, and it has been seen for all these years, has been documented. So of course I would definitely give all the credit to my parents. Not most of the credit. It is all the credit, because sometimes my father or my parents say that, you know, no, but it is you. It is your hard work. I said, but I would not be able to be this person if it was not for your love and unconditional support. So I think that my everything is for my parents. Everything. And I think that all that I am here sitting with my back straight today, my back straight, this is how my mother has brought us up, right? To have sit erect. This is the only thing straight about me, my back. Yes. So I think that thanks to my parents, and I owe everything to them.
Right. Yeah. So it's been great talking to you, but before you go, I know a lot of people ask you to do this, but I wanted to see it in person. You know, when I saw you do the voice like in a higher pitch, like and a male voice and a female voice, I was just like,
मैंने आज रियाज नहीं किया.
मैंने ऐसे देखा and I was just like, wait, what am I watching? And that's when I was like, okay, this has to happen.
Oh God.
And this one's just for me, please.
इसके मैं पैसे लूँगी.
अरे
तो अभी बोल रहा था ना पेमेंट का, पहले पैसे निकाल. Okay. I want to sing this song. It's a little tough, but I hope I do justice to it. I'll sing a little bit. கண்ணாளனே நது கண்ணை நீற்றோட காணவில்லை, என் கண்களை பறித்து கொண்டும் ஏன் இன்னும் பேசவில்லை, വായ്പേസവേ വായ്പിള്ളയേ വളി തീർ വളി എന്നവോ कहना ही क्या ये नैन एक अनजान से जो मिले चलने लगे मोहब्बत के जैसे ये सिलसिले.
Oh my God. I am privileged. I am honored.
रियाज वो थोड़ा खुलता नहीं है. So sorry चित्रा चेची.
I am honored. I am privileged. I got to hear this in person.
थोड़ा बहुत गा लिया ऑटो ट्यून के बिना.
And
उसको बोलते हैं ना वो थोड़ा वो बहुत सालों के लिए रियाज करके हो जाता है. बट थैंक यू सो मच. इसका पेमेंट मैं बाद में लूंगी.
Done.
हाँ वो चेक ही तुम देना.
The iconic Namaste.
Namaste everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Radio City.